question was, I'm having friends who eat normally over for dinner. What should I do? Should I cook for them? Well, personally, I would never offer cooked food to anyone unless I didn't like them. It's toxic. So what I would do is I would make a delicious raw vegan meal. I mean, I'm sure they'll eat a salad, and they probably eat some other things. You know, you could get creative and do a beautiful meal, a raw vegan meal. That's all I would ever offer anybody personally. Okay, that's really not. I mean, I would tell them perhaps. You may not want to surprise them, but you might want to let them know that you now eat only this way, and you'd like to prepare a special meal for them. That's what I would do. I personally, I would never. First of all, I don't have a stove for many years. I'm not, and anyone, I'm telling people that want to come visit, I'll say, yeah, it's all raw vegan. That's what we have. We have fruit and salad. Okay, but most people are going to be fine with that for one meal. I mean, frankly, anybody that can't be okay eating that for one meal probably isn't qualified to be my friend.
Depending on the culture, too, you might insult some people.
Well, I don't think they're going to be insulted if they're coming to your house.
Right.
And this is what you're serving. I mean, it's a little harder if if you're going to their house. Okay, and what I do in that circumstance is very simple. I don't ever want to surprise people. I don't want to show up someplace and say I can't eat those things. I'm not going to eat those things. So what I would do is, if someone invites me for dinner, I would say, thank you. I would love to spend the evening with you. Because that's why I'm going. Okay? I'm not going for the food that they're serving. I'm clear about that. If I want the best food, that's in my kitchen. I already have the best food I know how to get. So
We always bring around.
I would just say to them, yeah, I'd love to spend the time with you. If they don't already know this, or if they do, you remember I only eat fruit and salad. Okay? Would you like me to bring a salad for everyone? Okay? I mean, people make this like it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. You can eat whatever you want. It doesn't make any difference what other people are eating. It's all how you interact with it. I've been doing this for 30 plus years now, eating differently than everyone around me. Makes no difference. It doesn't change anything. Okay? You could say to them, let's say it's someone you don't know very well, and they invite you to dinner. I would just say, hey, thanks, I'd love to spend the evening with you. I just wanted you to be clear, I only eat fruit and very simple salads. I have a very restricted diet. They'll understand that. And you can tell them. And if they say why, you would say, well, I get sick if I eat anything else. Are they going to want you to get sick? I mean, there's nothing else you need to say. Okay, and then you can say, would you like me to bring a salad for everyone? And you hope they say yes. Because if they say, no, we'll have a salad, then you have to go, well, what's in it, right? Okay, I'm hoping they'll say, yeah, bring a salad. I'll say, great, how many people? 50. Oh, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm busy that night. But if it's a small group, if there's 8 or 10 people, here's what I found. You make a salad you want for yourself, and you make about the same amount again for everyone else. You'll eat half of it, the rest of them will eat a little bit, that's all they'll eat. It's not really a problem, okay? Don't make it into a big deal, it doesn't have to be one. Again, here's the thing, think about this. When you go out to dinner with your friends, you all sit down, you look at the menu, right? And then you all agree on what you're going to have because you all have to eat the same thing, right? Of course not. Everybody orders whatever they want. Why is it different if you're in someone's house? What difference does it make? You're not there to share the food. You're there to be together. You're there to share the experience and share the time. And for some people, it might be about the food. You make it clear. You be clear. That's not what it's about for you. Okay, if I want the best food, if I want the best dining experience, I'm going to sit by myself where I can eat the best food I have and not have to socialize with anyone else, which will distract me from my food. No, I like to share food with people. Don't get me wrong. But If it's about having the best experience with food, I'm by myself in my space with my food. I'm not going to your house. I'm not going to any restaurant. Okay? I'm clear about that. So I'm clear that I'm attending social events to be with people I care about or people I want to get to know. Okay? And I just make that really, really clear. And then if someone says, let's say you say to someone, you know, I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, but I only eat fruit or salad, is that okay? If they say, oh, well, oh, you know what? You know what? That's okay. Let's get together next week at my house. Okay? And if they say, oh, no, okay, fine. That's okay too. Okay? You know, one of the things that's going to happen for some of you, and this is likely more of an issue if you're younger and still holding on to childhood friends because you've known each other for a long time. I love all my old childhood buddies. I don't see them very often anymore. We don't have that much in common anymore. So, you know, people go their own ways. We attract the people who resonate with who we are. And so I don't need to belong. I don't need to fit in with them if they're no longer, you know, if their idea of a good time is sitting around, you know, it's like grilling steaks, and if you don't have one, there's something wrong with you. I don't need to have anything to do with that anymore. I'm done with that. Okay? Anybody who thinks less of me because I don't eat their food, I respect them. They're entitled to their opinion. I don't need them in my life anymore. I have members of my family that I love, and I'm very happy seeing every once in a while. I don't need to spend more time with them than that, because it's kind of a bummer sometimes. Okay? I mean, you know, we can love everyone and still choose who to spend our time with. They're two different things. Okay? Yeah, who doesn't like fruit?
They don't care. They just know it.
I mean, there are sometimes some strange people. You know, why do you go to a wedding? Does anyone go to a wedding for the food? I hope not. All right? I once catered a wedding for 2 clients of mine and married each other. And I catered the wedding for 150 people. It was a 100% raw meal. And the kitchen, we worked, the bride grew up on a horse farm in Western Maryland, beautiful property. And the wedding was in her parents' backyard, right? So we were in the kitchen. We'd been there for 3 days in a row preparing all the food, and we were there serving it and putting it out from the kitchen, which was a pretty long hike from the reception, which was in a big tent down below in a field. And at least 20 or 25 people walked up to the kitchen to personally thank us for the meal. Not one of them was a raw vegan. They were like, this food is really amazing. Okay? There were 2 people who left the reception to go get some real food. I'm like, that's fucked up. Like, you're there to celebrate these people's love, and you can't have one meal that doesn't include a dead carcass? Really? I guess all carcasses are dead, aren't they? I mean, that's kind of messed up, don't you think? People are funny, but anyway, I mean, I would say to you that the most difficult part about eating this way in a world that doesn't get it is how you interact with that. It's not about the other people. That doesn't matter. It's never prevented me from being anywhere, from being with anybody. Okay, and because I'm completely confident about what I do, like, no one gives me a hard time. No one. It doesn't happen. People go, is that all you're going to eat? Uh-huh. Well, you can't get on. I'm like, yeah, you might be right, but I sure feel amazing.
You have the right personality too.
You mean?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, someone once said to me, raw vegans are strange people. And I thought for a second and said, you're right. You're right. Because in order to eat a diet that everyone else doesn't get, you have to not care about what they think. But why would you care what they think? What difference does it make? Do you really need their approval? I mean, this is the thing, and honestly, speaking to some of the younger people here, right, this is an issue that we all grapple with, right? When we're 14, we all want to be individuals, just like all of our friends, exactly the same as them, right? We want to be unique, just exactly the way they are. So we all wear our pants down around. I didn't do that. That was invented much later, thank God. How do people walk with their pants down here? You probably know something about this, but it's funny. I mean, like, yeah, we want to be individuals, but all your friends are doing exactly the same thing. Like, that's not very. But they're trying to fit in, right? And we all. This is part of growing up. Through adolescence, we're trying to find our place. We're trying to figure out who we are. Hopefully, by the time we're 25 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, certainly, we don't care about that. We're confident enough in who we are. It doesn't matter. Okay? You think I'm an idiot, I'm okay with that. You're entitled to your opinion. Okay? You think I'm an ass, that's okay with me. My job isn't to make you think anything in particular of me. My job, as it relates to being here and what I do online, is to share what I believe is the truth. I just responded to a YouTube comment. Someone said, "This guy's a quack." I said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but the more than 10,000 people who feel and function much better than before they met me might disagree with you." And by the way, this is a no troll zone, so feel free to move on. Okay.
What's a quack?
A quack is typically it's a doctor that doesn't know what they're doing. The suggestion is that this is all bullshit. Yeah, believe whatever you want. That's okay. Ultimately, really, it comes down to being comfortable with yourself, right? Because if you're comfortable with yourself, you can simply say to the people you care about, "Hey, this is what I do." Well, that's weird. Oh, well, works for me. I mean, what does it matter what they think? Okay.
Another scenario: you get invited to old buddies to a restaurant. You serve steaks, for example. Will you go there? How will you be able?
The question was, if I get invited to a restaurant, let's say a steak restaurant, would I go? It would depend on the situation. I mean, most steak restaurants serve salads. I mean, if I'm not sure, if I've never been there, I might call the place and ask, can I, listen, I'm a raw vegan, can I just get a big salad? Can you make me a big salad? No. I mean, some people are like, I'm not gonna pay money to a place that serves meat. Okay. That's fine. I respect that. And there's a couple of different things. One, you might, if that's their focus, you might have a philosophical issue with that. You might not want to support them. That's fine. Okay? Let's say I've had people say to me, my friends want to go to my favorite Thai restaurant. We used to hang out. I'm not sure I can sit there and not eat the food. Well, then don't go. It's not rocket science, right? You're busy that night, aren't you? Do you ever sit home doing absolutely nothing? You will be busy that night. Just say, oh, you know what? I'm going to be busy that night. How about next week we meet at my house? Let's get together at my house. And then you control the menu. You create something amazing and introduce them to what's possible, okay? Don't put yourself in situations that are going to make you uncomfortable or increase the likelihood of failure, of your giving into something you don't want to do, okay? If you have no problem being in a meat-based restaurant and you can sit there and eat your salad, I can do that. That's fine. You can go. Call the restaurant in advance, see if they can take care of you. If you're comfortable with that, there's no reason why you can't be there. Okay? Just don't put yourself in situations that are going to be too difficult for you. You get to control this. Okay? But remember, ultimately it just comes down to how you choose to interact with it. All right? Be confident in your own choices. Years ago, when I was in the commercial real estate business, I had someone say to me, it was back then, real men ate meat, right? And I became a vegan almost 33 years ago. So people would say, well, what if the clients might think you're not manly enough? I'm like, that's fine. There's more clients. I don't need those people.
You're not married. You're still in my house.
Yeah, I wasn't selling houses. It's the same thing. I was arranging financing. I mean, the difference is that I was trying to convince people twice my age to let me handle their $5 to $30 million transaction, and they might have had some, might have had some standards, but that's okay. There are plenty of people that didn't care what I ate, right? I'd rather work with those people. Yeah. If that really is gonna, is gonna filter me out for someone, that's okay with me. Next. There's plenty of people out there, right? I mean, why do we want to keep trying to make things fit when they don't fit? Let's find where it fits and feels good. Okay? I have never, in 28 years, I've yet to be in a situation. I mean, there have been places I've been momentarily for a while, an airport maybe, where there was almost nothing to eat. I mean, in most airports, there's a salad somewhere, right? Even McDonald's sells a salad. In most places, you can get fed if you want to. Wrong. But if I'm in a place where there's really nothing at all to eat, remember, you guys, remember that time? Not some of you, but most of you. Remember that time you skipped 63 meals in a row? Right? Or for some of you, 80 meals in a row? Could you skip one meal and be okay? I think so. Okay, I'll get a bottle of water. I'm good. Is that all you're going to have? Uh-huh. Okay, it's not that big a deal. Okay? It's really about how we interact with it. I've had friends who said, yeah, everyone attacks me. Like they'll say, yeah, when I eat the way I eat, everyone gives me a hard time. You know why that happens? I think people are like dogs. Dogs will attack when they smell fear. So if you're not confident, people are going to attack you. And they're going to attack you because if they can belittle your diet, that means they're okay. If what you're doing makes sense, then maybe they should be doing it too. They don't want to consider that possibility. If you're confident enough, no one messes with you. No one messes with me. No one ever. I mean, people might say, well, you can't get it. I'm like, yeah, that's all right. I feel good. Never sick. Better than 20/20 vision. I mean, everything's good. In fact, there's a specific technique. Any salespeople here? Okay, you probably know this one. Feel, felt, found. Sales technique. It's just a way to communicate. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. Here's what I found. Okay? You don't have to use those words, but I mean, here's what I'm saying. You know what? I remember when I thought I could never live without meat. I actually feel much better now than I did before. That's what I found was I feel much better than I ever did before. So I'm not going, you're wrong, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're going to die. I'm just going, I understand exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. Here's what I found. Okay? Make sense? All right, other questions? Yeah.
Not related to this.
Any other questions related to this area? I'll share a couple things with you before we move on. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, that kind of a thing. It's a big event. There's big tables of 10 people, right? Chicken or steak? Usually there's a salad first. So first of all, if I'm going to an event and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the kind of food I want, I'm not hungry when I get there. I've already eaten. I'm not going for the food. So I eat before I go. And then if I'm driving, which when I was in the US, I drove everywhere, here too. So what I do, I got a bag of fruit in the car. If there's nothing in there that I can eat, excuse me for a minute, and I get up and I walk outside and I go eat some apples or oranges or bananas or whatever. Now I'm good. Okay? I mean, again, it's only a big deal if you make it one. Right? I'll get the salad. If the salad's bad, I'll just push it around a little bit, pick out the few things that taste good to me. Is all you're going to have? Uh-huh. Okay? No arguing with people, right? You can't get enough protein. I don't know. You might be right. I mean, I do know but I don't want to argue. So I'm going to say, I don't know, you might be right, but I sure feel good. And I'll have fun with them. You may not be able to do this, but I'll say, I'm really just trying this. I don't really know if it works. How long have you been doing it? 28 years. We'll see. The jury's out. I might fall apart at any moment. You never know. Okay. I won't get into a long discussion, philosophical debate. I'm not going to put them down. I'm just going to say, I feel better than I've ever felt before. And when I do that, here's what happens. If there's 9 or 10 people listening, within an hour, a day, a week, or a month, someone's going to contact me and say, do you really feel that good? Because I guarantee you, if you're sitting with 9 other adults, they don't. Most people feel bad after every meal. Like most of the time. And they're going to say, do you really feel? I'm like, yeah. You want to hear more? Let's get together. Or I might say, here, I'll send you a YouTube video where I talk about this. Okay? Most people don't feel well. And they don't know anything else. They don't understand that they've grown up eating a diet that's making them sick. And this is increasingly true. So by just speaking my truth and being confident in my truth, someone's going to go, tell me more. Okay, you're opening doors. You're actually helping people that way. If not today, you're planting seeds. Some of those seeds may take a year or 5 years to sprout, but one day someone's going to go, remember that guy at the wedding who only ate salad and fruit? Maybe I'll contact him because they get diagnosed with something, right? People are getting sicker and sicker earlier and earlier. Okay, it's becoming easier and easier to live your truth and have people go, yeah, it makes sense, I get it. Because what they're doing doesn't work. They don't feel good. They know they're not healthy, most people. It's a lot easier today than it was 30 years ago. So there's much greater consciousness around this than there was 30 years ago. Today it's not that difficult, okay? This is what it is. Most difficult situation I've ever been in, it was my 35th birthday. My doorbell rang. I opened the door. There was a woman I didn't know very well, but I'm guessing wanted to know me better because she was standing there with a birthday cake. And I said, wow, what a beautiful gesture. Come on in. And we went in the kitchen and I said, can I cut you a piece of cake? And she said, yeah. So I cut her a piece of cake. And then she said, aren't you going to have one? And I said, no, actually, I don't eat cake. Cake makes me feel sick. But I really appreciate, I know you didn't know that, and I really appreciate what you did. And we sit and talk for a while, and then when she gets ready to leave, I say, do you want to take this with you? Because I won't eat it. Now, do you think her feelings might have been hurt? Of course they might have been hurt. Is that my problem?
No.
Of course it's not. And I'm not to be cold. The point is, your job is not to go around making other people feel better. Speak your truth. I'm not going to eat something that's going to make me feel physically sick to make her feel good. I'm going to say my truth. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love you put into this. If I eat it, I'll feel bad. Okay, does she want me to feel bad? Of course not. Okay? And if she doesn't understand this, we're never going to get together. Like, what am I going to pretend that I eat like the way she does? And what's the point of that? Live your truth. Okay?